Hey everybody, it's Joe from greenlightsound.com, and today we're going to take a look at two of the best stock Pro Tools plugins which are available in any DAW from Nembrini Audio. And in Pro Tools they are LoFi from Avid and SansAmp. And for Nembrini, we got Nembrini Audio's LoFi and their PSA1000 Junior, which is a SansAmp plugin. And they're great for adding crunch, distortion, dirt, lo-fi goodness to any signal you really want. Really great on percussive elements, good on bass, anything. So really great. If you ask Chad Blake, famous mixer, he put SansAmp on everything. So let's start out by listening to SansAmp first, and we'll check it out on the bass guitar part. And first thing I'm going to do is just solo up the bass by itself without any SansAmp. And all I did is make a copy of the bass part, copied it exactly, put SansAmp on it, fully wet, and I'm going to pull this fader up, and you'll hear what the SansAmp does to the bass part. I can dial it way up for tons of aggression, or just blend it in lightly for that little upper mid-range bite that'll help it cut through a lot of different speakers. One great little addition is the phase reverse switch right here. If I don't reverse the phase, you get a lot of comb filtering at the low end of the bass. Listen to it without that switch on. And if I pop it on, all that low end comes back. Let's go to crazy setting here. We'll go to one of the presets, Super Crunch Bass. Bring it down again, and dial it back in. So yeah, SansAmp, PSA1000 Junior, fantastic on bass. Now we'll jump over to Nembrini's LoFi, based upon that Avid LoFi. Let's make this plugin a little bigger. It's fully resizable, which is nice. And what we're going to do is just dial in some distortion on a snare drum part to kind of thicken things up a little bit. You got to be careful with the lo-fi saturation, just like the Pro Tools version. This has a pretty steep and severe low-pass filter, so a lot of that top end will get chopped off if you use this too much. If you're dialing in the saturation, it's usually just a couple clicks up the knob, and that's all you'll use unless you totally want to cut that top end out. But first we'll play with the distortion. Here's the snare drum part. And I'll dial in the distortion. Dial the output back. Bypass. And on. And one of the nice things about this is with the distortion, you're clipping the top of those transients, so you're not really going to clip your DAW or run the faders too hot. It just feels a lot louder by reducing that dynamic range. Compression, distortion, saturation, all kind of in the same family here by reducing dynamic range and making the apparent loudness bigger. And it just thickens everything up too. Now you can hear the saturation, how much top end it cuts off. So if you want to go truly lo-fi, that's great, but I tend to use it barely at all, if at all, especially on a source that has high-end information in it. Like that, and that's it. Now let's jump over to a kick drum part. Lo-fi is great on kick drum as well. Here's the kick. And I'll put some distortion and saturation. It's just a massive low end when you use this. I'll bypass it on and off. Big, thick, full sounding, great to use on kick drum. Another great use of SansAmp is on vocals. So I picked some settings here to kind of really crush the vocal. Right now it's completely dry.
What has been, just let go.
And I'm going to take that wet dry knob and just pull it back the slightest bit to bring that distorted vocal in with it.
Change what has been, just let go, and you can be free and know.
I'll pull it back more so you can really hear what it's doing.
Change what has been, just let go.
I mean, just completely destroying the vocal. So you just dial that in very slightly.
Change what has been, just let go, and you can be free.
And in solo, it doesn't sound great, but when you put that in the context of the full mix, a lot of that sort of distorted character gets masked by the other mix elements, and you just hear a more aggressive vocal. And it's a great way of bringing that vocal out. You could also just duplicate the vocal, fully smash it, and use a fader to bring it in that way, but I wanted to do quick and easy, wet, dry mix. So there we have it, 2 of Pro Tools Avid's best stock plugins that come with it, used by tons of mixers. Available in any DAW now from Nembrini Audio. You got LoFi and you got SansAmp, their PSA1000 Junior. Great tools if you want to go for that sort of distinct sound of SansAmp and LoFi. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, so we can keep you in the loop as to what's coming up next, and I'll see you in the next one.